to the channel. My name is Grant Tommy. This is Straight Six Fan, where I like to focus on budget-minded, relatable, creative builds, a little something I like to call offbeat hot rodding, helping you build your hot rod and your confidence. And today we are taking a break from Project Low Fairmont and finally getting to what was the original idea I had for my 500 subscriber giveaway, and then I didn't get it figured out in time, and so I was like, okay, well, I'll do it for my 614 subscriber giveaway. If you're curious why that was significant, I'll leave an info card up over here. But and then my 1,000 subscriber giveaway. But so anyway, I've got 3 giveaways that I'm going to give away 3 things, I guess, for the 500, 614, 1,000 subscriber giveaway as I encroach on 1,500 subscribers. But what they are, and I showed this in a live stream a long time ago, but basically I'm going to build, for today's episode, I'm going to prototype building these guys. These are laser cut, basically 1/4 scale, I think, maybe smaller, head gaskets for a 300 cubic inch Ford inline 6, the namesake of my channel. And it's going to be a screwdriver holder, something you can mount on your wall and stick screwdrivers in. So let's get the welder hooked up and let's get going on this little project. Now, I believe it was February the last time I ran that machine. I could be wrong. Actually, I probably am, because I think I did plasma cut a special tool out for the back when I was tightening or loosening the pinion on Project Low Fairmont, and I did plasma cut this 8-ball just for fun. So, but for as far as welding goes, it's been probably February. So what I'm going to do today is I have an idea in my head how I want the bracket to work for mounting this to the wall. And so that's what I'm going to try to attempt to create today, just to see if it's going to work the way I think that it might. And then from there, I'm going to figure out like the screws that I will need to provide for somebody to install this on their wall. But with that, let's get to work. Since today is all about the prototype, I'm just going to use what I've laying around. So I have a ton of this 3/16 inch 1-inch stock, or maybe it's bigger than that. It's probably, yeah, 1.5 inches. But I've got a little bit of this 3/32 inch material laying around, which is great because it looks like I must have previously cut this out. It's already cut out to size. So anyway, as you can see, I had my older brother was the one who had access to like a this maker space, and as you can see, this says Straight Six Fan Test. So I've got a couple of these that, hey, if I get it wrong, it's just a prototype. But anyway, we'll get to cutting and welding and all that fun stuff. The general idea that I have is that this is going to be the mounting flange, so I'll have 2 holes drilled there in the bottom. That'll mount to the wall, and then this is going to have kind of 2 flanges, so it'll be a bottom flange and a top flange, kind of like an F shape. And the thought is that then you just slide this in there like that, and it'll kind of just be friction fit, and there should be enough of the flange top and bottom that it won't want to do that. Will it work out that way? I don't know. There's only one way to find out. After scribing the line on this piece for 5/16 inch for the top flange, I just couldn't figure out a way to cut it where I'd feel safe using like a cutoff disc. I don't have a metal plate for my jigsaw at the moment, and even if I did, the what do you call it, a little resting flat spot was too wide compared to when I clamped it. So I'm just going to tack weld this in place, and then hopefully it'll be a little easier. I can kind of maybe clamp like the mounting flange to where I can cut off the appropriate length, and then we can weld up the bottom flange. But anyway, again, it's a prototype.
Doing this,
So it's going to be a great project for me. Part of the reason I'm forced me to help me get better at TIG welding. I'm not good. I'm not the greatest. I've only been doing it, I don't know, probably less than a dozen times I've tried TIG welding. So anyway, poor foresight. Didn't clean the inside of this because I'd like to tack it on the bottom side as well. Just because, as you know, whenever you apply heat in welding, it's going to suck things like when you think you have a right angle, like because the way the heat just sucks it, it's going to kind of deform. So I kind of would like to balance it out and put tack welds on the bottom side too. So we're going to try this wire wheel on the die grinder. So we'll do that real fast, and then we'll tack it on the inside, and then we'll see about cutting it down to size. With the bottom tacked, I'm going to go ahead and try to run a little longer beads on top now, and practice using filler rod. Historically, I'm not very good at this, but again, this is why I'm doing it. This is why I'm practicing. So we're gonna just kind of beef up. I don't know, maybe try to get an inch bead on both sides, or I don't know, something before we cut it here. As you can see, practice. I definitely need some more of it, but it's fun nonetheless. You know, I think I maybe have the heat turned up too high because I felt like I had to go pretty fast, and probably shouldn't necessarily be the case TIG welding, that I went as fast as I did. So now, because my Everlast welder's got a pulse mode, I'm probably going to go back over this and try to clean it up, pulsing it. But this is going to be good enough for me to cut off the excess, and then we can try to weld on the bottom flange. Now for the bottom flange, I'm going to let it be a little bit bigger because we don't have anything we're going to cover up. I mean, these, you know, like these are your like head bolt, counter valve cover bolts, or coolant water passages. I'm going to let that bottom flange kind of bottom out with the tangent to this, you know, cylinder, if you will. And so yeah, we'll make it a little bit deeper than the top flange. So here it is mocked up, and again we're going to do like we did on the top side. We're going to cut off the excess of the bottom flange after I get it tacked into place. I don't know if this masonite type material is going to hold up to the heat of TIG welding, but again, that's why it's a test piece. And I do have two of them. So anyway, I'm just going to tack it in place and go from there. And so here's what we did find out. It does not hold up to the heat of TIG welding. So yeah, but nice little beads down there. Anyway, gotta flip it and do the other side. So more or less, this is the finished product. Now, obviously I got some cleaning up to do here. I mean, I don't know if this is gonna actually be a giveaway or if this is one I keep for myself since it's the first one, but maybe I can clean this one up, I don't know. But yeah, so here is the mounting flange, and then you just slide this guy in there like so. I mean, you'd probably mount this to the wall first, probably be the easiest. But I want to take this with me to like a hardware store to figure out, because I probably want to like countersink screw holes for the flange. And you know, since it's only about 5 inches this direction, you're obviously only going to be able to hit one stud with it, so I probably should find some of those plastic sleeve anchors. So I just need to figure out what size, what's the appropriate size, and then I'll kind of drill the holes for that, and then we'll give it a run and throw some screwdrivers in there to see how that works. But let's wrap this thing up. Some of the struggles that I encountered making the prototype is how to process these flanges better. In one sense, I could probably buy just, or use some of the angle iron I have and just, you know, like the problem with angle iron is it's got that rounded cove on the inside, so I could probably grind that down and make it more of a right angle. But then I missed out on 5 inches of TIG welding practice, so I think I'm leaning towards I'd rather do it this way. Just again, it forces me to practice TIG welding. It's the only way I'm going to get better is if I force myself to practice, and it's hard for me to practice unless I make something practical. But yeah, that's kind of where we stand. Now, as I mentioned, it's going to be a 500, 614, 1,000 subscriber giveaway. So I'm going to make 3 of these, and I'll release details on the giveaway in an upcoming episode. I don't know how far out that is, but we'll definitely do that. So stay tuned on my channel for information on that. But that pretty much wraps up this episode. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Don't really care which one you do. As long as you do one, it really helps me out. If you want support my channel another way, you can pick up a straight 6-fan Pistons tee. Link to my Spreadshirt store down below in the description. But that's going to do it for this episode. Until next time, peace out.